Hey, morning Spurs fans. Paul the Hotspur hippie here, the only psychedelic soccer show on the internet, even though I'm still in my mysterious mountain lair, looking like a bit of a serial killer being interrogated with not much psychedelia happening. It's a really cold morning here, and it doesn't look like it's going to get much warmer. So I had plans for a big walk today. I don't know if that's going to happen because I'm all skin and bones. I've got no meat on me, so I haven't got any natural padding. But I hope you're well wherever you are. If you're in England, you're probably having a bit of a snooze. Maybe you're having a cup of cocoa. If you're in Australia, you're probably in bed. And if you're in Asia, you're asleep. And if you're in America, you're having afternoon tea or something like that. But wherever you are in the world, it's all one world. I'm glad we're all here together. Nice to see you all. There's a little bit of spurious news going around as usual. Nothing concrete happening. So we'll see how much we can pad out this morning. But there's a few of you in here, so the more you talk, the more I'll talk. But I'll just go through my extensive Twitter research as usual to see what's happening. News I'm a little bit miffed about, actually. We'll start off with this. Fabrizio Romano looks like Romain Mundle is set to join Standard Liège. Agreement on a 4-year deal until June 2027. Medical tests are done. Mundle leaves Tottenham on compensation. Excuse me, I don't know quite what that means. I thought he was going on a free. But it's a shame he's going, It's one of those guys that just sat on the bench for a whole year and we didn't use him. I haven't really seen him play much. But, if he's good enough to be on the bench all year, surely he was good enough to give a go. Otherwise, what was he doing on the bench? So I'm not the best. I'm not really happy about that. Good news for an old Spurs boy, Robbie Keane. Robbie Keane was an absolute monster in his day. Bloody hell, he was a leader, He didn't take any slacky shit of players off the pitch. He was he was like one of those ultimate professionals, Robbie Keane. Great player for Tottenham and Ireland. And he's become the new Maccabi Tel Aviv coach. So good luck to him over there. I think he's over there on a 2-year contract. He's a great guy. I hope he does really well. Really well. Good luck to you, Robbie. Let me see. Now, last word on Spurs, who I believe might be live at the moment, or they might have finished. They were doing a stream with Danny Kelly earlier or now. I don't know. Time's a bit weird. But I'll definitely be watching that because I love Danny Kelly. But they're saying Tottenham Hotspur and Bayer Leverkusen are in negotiations over a deal for defender Edmund Tapsoba. Personal terms will not be any issue to overcome ahead of any potential transfer. That's from P. O'Keefe, Paul O'Keefe, Pat O'Keefe, Pob O'Keefe, Pavel O'Keefe. I don't know. Who's P. O'Keefe? Let's give him his proper name. Paul O'Keefe. Boring name. When I was growing up, there's bloody loads of Pauls everywhere. Loads of Pauls. I had the misfortune to live in an era where you had Paul McCartney and Pope John Paul VI, so every bugger was called Paul. Now there's no Pauls. We're a dying species. It's a game that's gone. It's a name that's gone. Now, I did have another one here. Where is it? Where is it? I haven't run out of stuff yet. This is an interesting one I saw. Paddy Hartnett, Limerick's own Paddy Hartnett, he's got a point here. He's asking, why are Spurs fans happy to hear this fellow is still involved with Spurs? And he's referring to this. He's looking a bit more free. He's not sitting in a Holiday Inn toilet in that photo. Fabio Bardadici. 16 signings and how many worked out? The man does not cook. And I'm going to agree with Paddy. I think Paratici had a bit of an Indian sort of summer, maybe with 2 or 3 signings, but on the whole, it was absolute crap. And there was enough of a cloud of him from even when we signed him from Juventus, that we should never have got the guy. I mean, I wasn't really, I was trying to be loyal. It sounds like I'm loyal until they leave and I stab him in the back. But from about January last year, I wanted him gone. As soon as he was, found doing dodgy dealings, I thought, well, it's not going to end well, is it? It's not going to end well. So he should go. And I hold him a bit responsible for this bullshit Italian style player football we've been enduring for the last few years as well. So what's Paddy Hartnett referring to here? Still involved? Is he still advising in some unofficial capacity, or what's going on here? What's going on? Why are we still listening to this guy? Why are we still listening to the guy? Here's another one. Now this is from Spurs Watch, but it caught my eye because Brian Daigle retweeted it. Spurs Watch are saying James Maddison, or you lot, or your favourite, has already agreed personal terms with Tottenham. Just over 9 million a year. What's that? 500 grand a year? Is it? No, it can't be 500 grand a year. 250 a year. I can't even work out 9 divided by 50. 450 a week. 450,000 pounds a week. I'm telling you, Ange, sign me up. 10 grand a week. 10 grand a week. You can't go wrong, man. You can't go wrong. I'll be better than Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer with his massively fast turning circle. I can turn around quicker than that twat. 10 grand, man. Bargain. It'll cause headlines. Spurs signed 51-year-old decrepit hippie. Now this is one I want to. This is one I'm getting excited about, and I'm probably one of the only Spurs fans that I reckon is going to be excited about this rumor. But I got this from a guy called Postacogniac, who I think he used to call himself East End Yid. And he's saying, if we're going to back Ange, I reckon we need to be consistent and back him all the way. I agree. If he wants James Maddison and this is the name that I like, Cameron Carter-Vickers, you can't just be happy about one and angry about the other, can you? I agree with that. Cameron Carter-Vickers. Now, I'll be interested to know what people think about this. He's one of our own. We didn't really know what to do with him. We'd farmed him out here and there, and eventually he ended up at Celtic. And I'm telling you, I've mentioned Cameron Carter-Vickers a few times here and there because I watched him play a lot the last couple of years for Celtic. Yeah, it's only Scottish football, you English people. Snobbery about Scottish football. Weren't so snobby at Kinney Dalglish here. Graham Souness, he's one of our own as well. But I'm telling you, Cameron Carter-Vickers is the business. He is the absolute business. He had a near perfect season for Celtic last year, and he was carrying an injury for a fair bit of it as well. You wouldn't have known it the way he was playing. If you've got any doubts on what I'm saying on Cameron Carter-Vickers, let me see if I can find one. This is how I judge players. I don't go for their sizzle reels. I go for all touches in a game. I'll just pick Rangers. That'll be one for Rangers. There we go. Don't play it. Don't want to get slammed by the. Oh, do I have to skip an ad? Oh, I don't know what I've got to do. I'll try and put this link in. So this is just the first one I've picked here. So this is just all his touches against Rangers. And I think I've seen this one before. And what I'm guessing you'll see if you watch this, you'll see not only is he putting 2-foot tackles in and getting the ball, but he's doing it all over the pitch as well. He's not just saving our arse at the last minute. He is right up there, and he's he plays a bit sideways or whatever. he didn't need to do much more than that. But when he needs to get up there, he really presses up quite high. You'll probably see him nicking the ball in their half or right near the centre line. I'm telling you, Cameron Carter-Vickers, if we sign Cameron Carter-Vickers, I'll be bloody very, very happy. And I'm probably the only one. But I'm telling you, he's a good player. He's a good player. I'd love to see him back at Spurs. Ange is also, we've also been, there's also rumours coming out that Ange is interested in Hatate and Kyogo Furuhashi. I'd be happy with them as well. I don't know quite how they'd fit in, but if Ange wants them, I'm all aboard the Ange Postecoglou choo-choo. Woo woo! And I'm drinking my coffee. Problem is having a 5-minute intro though. Is by the time it's finished, I've almost drunk my coffee. But at least I'm not in an offensive mug this time. So what do you reckon in the chat? Cameron Carter-Vickers? Am I just a barking old tree-hugging hippie that doesn't know anything about football? Or is there at least 2 brain cells in there rubbing each other together, causing a little bit of heat and friction and thought? And one other interesting thing I saw, which I don't know if I can get back up because I'm crap. He talked about a bit of a headache for Ange and Tottenham come January, because the Asian Federation Cup and the Africa Cup of Nations are happening in January, and we've got a few players that would be involved in those tournaments, and that's going to cause a bit of a pain in the arse of Tottenham. And my answer to that was, well, it didn't cause Arsenal too many bloody problems a couple of years ago, did it? Did it? Where they flogged a few players in their January window and then went, oh no, we've only got Asian and African players left. Oh, please, Premier League, we can't play Tottenham. We're scared. And the Premier League, as usual, said, oh, okay, Arsenal, all right, we'll move your fixture for you. So if that happens to Tottenham and they don't let us sort shit out, that's proof they're out to get us. And they'll make it all much sweeter when we start lifting shit against the odds, against the establishment. That's it. Tottenham is an anti-establishment club. They try to keep us out of the bloody football league. We got in anyway. So you know, if they don't let us move fixtures and they let Arsenal do it, there you go. There you go. I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat on. Tinfoil hat. All right, that's all the news I've got. So let's see what you lot think. Oh yeah, James Maddison. I mentioned that. Personal terms might be coming Thursday. Don't know. And I think we've got, what's the date in England? It's the 26th. So that'll be 5 days. 5 days. For me, it's 4. I'm counting that he starts midnight Australia time. 4 days to the arrival of the big Greek Australian man comes walking in, kicking shit about, sorting the players out, getting them revved up for pre-season. And I see him in a Spurs top or something. Can't wait. Ange Postecoglou, the man, my number 1 choice, is finally going to be our manager. I mean, I still, you know, have the slight thought in my head, what if Levy cocks this up and he don't come in or something? But I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I'm hoping he doesn't happen. I'm looking forward for the arrival of Big Ange. All right, so there's some of my talking points. Actually, you know what? I'll put a banner up just to keep you lot reined in, so you don't get me distracted, because you know I like being distracted too much. I'll put that up there. There we go. Headline: Cameron Carter-Vickers back to Spurs. Let's see how long that lasts before you get me talking about bloody movies and stuff. All right, here we go. Excuse me a minute. I have to have a bit. I've just got up as usual. It's freezing, so I thought I'd put the heater on in this little tiny room and get talking, get warmed up. But hang on. There we go. Fresh as a daisy. Ah, the joys of spring. Well, it's the middle of winter. All right, let's see what we got in here. We've got a few in here. This is nice. Hi, everyone. Chris Agombar. Hi, Paul. Hope you're well, man. Yes, I did. Slept like an absolute bloody log. Went to bed early. Oh, watched Back to the Future 3 was on TV, and even 15 minutes to go, I was just too knackered, went to bed. Interesting program before that though. It was about the Loch Ness Monster, and it was all like the end of the legend. And as usual at the end of these programs, well, we can't prove, we didn't prove there is a monster, but we can't prove there isn't one either. What a load of utter bollocks! Load of utter bollocks. But I like watching programs like that with crackpots. Andrew Seymour. See, I don't need you lot to distract me. I'll distract myself. Hi, Andrew. Yep, morning to you, man. How you going? Here we go. Tottenham, yes. Tottenham LSG. Keno kept Defoe out the starting lineup along spells. That's a fair old point, isn't it, man? How good's he? Robbie Keane keeping a player like Defoe out, because Defoe weren't any slouch, was he, man? But on the other hand, twats like Eric Dyer kept Cameron Carter-Vickers out of our team. So, you know, what can you say, eh? Spurs Between the Lines. Hey, hi, Mia. With a retro BBC micro type intro. I do like them. They're very good. Keep them coming, Mia. My middle name is Paul. All right, well, there's a few of us around, but we're getting old. Paul's not a name of the future, is it? It's all Zachs these days, and you know, people with big and small letters and apostrophes where they shouldn't have them, or people that don't spell Amy right. I only say that because my daughter's name's Amy. We spell it the right way, A-M-Y. Joseph Monaghan, come on you Spurs. That's it. Come on you Spurs. That's the way to do it, man. Jeffrey Drummond, hi Paul. Spurs Between the Line raid. Oh, mean, oh right, okay. I thought raid was a Twitch thing. I used to do excuse me. I used to do a bit of Twitch streaming years ago, and raiding was a big thing in Twitch. I didn't know there was any way you could do it in YouTube. But you know, what do I know? I might have to find that out. Max is called Paul. Not keen on the name. Oh look, well, yeah, there was a lot of us around there, you know. But you know, in the from the 60s to the 70s, there was a lot of us around. I mean, you can't tar us all with the same brush, man. You know, I mean, but you're right. You know, if there's 100 Pauls, my statistics would be 3% of them are wankers, because that's my general thesis. From being an Uber driver, 3% of people are arseholes, and they just make life miserable for the rest of us. But yeah, not happy with Paul's letting the side down there, but it's going to happen, isn't it? Mark Cousins says, big up Paul, Mia sent me. Well, Mia was hot off the press because I only just bloody started. How'd you do that, Mia? Did you just tell people to go over, or is there like a button? Is there something you can click that says, right, go? I know you could do it in Twitch, but oh well, don't know. Flaming Eyes, what up, hippie? Well, the sun's just about up. I'll just have a quick check for kangaroos. They don't seem to be. They don't seem to come in the back garden very much, though. No, fuck all. But for those of you who think I'm being a bit of a phantom, you know, making stories up about kangaroos, like, do kangaroos really exist? Are they like the Loch Ness Monster? If you look at my shorts, there's one I did a couple of days ago. I think I called it Jacob's Spirit Animal, because I know Jacob from United Spurs of America was very keen on the old skippies. And in that I did catch 3 kangaroos hopping around the front garden. So yes, they are here. I'm not full of it. People are talking to each other again. Here we go. Flaming Eyes, what do you make of the submarine drama around the Titanic? Well, you know, I don't want to get political, but there seems to be a lot more effort looking for those people than the boat of asylum seekers off the coast of Greece. I'll just leave it at that. 100. Oh, you've done the maths for me. Thank you, Jace. Oh, 175. What? How did I come with 400? Oh, fucking hell. You know, I went to uni to study maths as well. Study maths. All I was doing was watching the Happy Mondays and the Charlatans and shit. 175 a week. Well, I suppose that doesn't sound unreasonable then, does it? That's, you know, it's not too much. I'll lower my price then. I'll go, look, all right, if you can put me up in bed and breakfast or something, like they used to do in the old days, because remember Jimmy Greaves, during the off season, well, he lived in a flat at Plough Lane at Wimbledon's ground, and during the off season, he worked there cleaning up Wimbledon's ground. One of the greatest footballers ever in the world, and that's what he had to do. So James Maddison won't be having to do that. But I'll tell you what, Ange, get me in. Get me in. I'll pick up litter after a game. How about that? You can sign me up for. Okay, I got it wrong by a factor of like 2.5. My initial offer was 10 grand a week, so I'll go 3. 3? Nah, 4. No. Oh God, it's tough, isn't it? I'm falling down on these negotiations already. Levy would have me over a bloody barrel, wouldn't he? I'd just crack. Wouldn't know what to do. Or I'll clean out the bins and you give me bed and breakfast, 2 grand a week. Deal. Come on. Put it there, mate. Put it there. Get me in. I'll even bring my revolving chair so I can like be aware of everything at on the pitch at the same time. Audio Artisan, g'day, nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. All right, you mathematical bloody Carol Vordermans out there with your abacus brains working out quick lickety split, and I'll trust that you didn't cheat and use, the idiot phone. It's not a smartphone, it's an idiot phone. It's turned us all into bloody morons, isn't it? Every advert I see, download this app, fuck off. I'm not downloading any more fucking apps. I can't be arsed. It's all shit. Well, shit, apart from Tottenham. Flaming Eyes, I'd be all right with 2 grand a week. Oh, bloody, I'm in a bidding war now. I'm in a bidding war with some random lunatic on the internet. Flaming Eyes is undercutting me. Oh, dear man, I've got expensive tastes, as you can tell. I'm a very materialistic person. I've got to have, I don't have all my Rolexes and Breitlingers on at the moment, but I've got loads. I've got drawers full. Look at this drawer here. Oh, loads of them. Oh, I can't even look at it. It's like when they open the suitcase in Pulp Fiction, the glow gold. Hang on, it's like that. Oh, very materialistic. 2 grand a week. I'll go 1850. Driving me hard though, man. 1850. I've got pride. I do love the badge, but fuck you're doing me hard. Come on, man. Give a guy a break. I'll tell you what, I'll sign. I'll sign if you can pay if Levy can pay my electricity bill. How about that? I'll do that. Pay my electricity bill. That's all you got to do. And buy some tomatoes because they're bloody $12 a kilo at the moment for some fucking mysterious reason. Right, Tottenham LSG. No way Levy pays more than 200k a week unless Harry resigns, and that's not happening. Oh, I don't know about that, man. I don't know. I reckon there's a chance Harry might resign. I think he might. I think we're going to see something interesting happening at Tottenham this year. Interesting. Oh, here we go. Someone's back on top. Oh, fuck. Hang on. Here we go. Headline. What do the comments think of the headline of that? And I've lost where I am in the comments, of course, now. But in direct response to that exciting CNN type headline, Jason Helms says, yes, CV. Good man. That's 2 in the 4 column, none against. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe I misread it. Maybe people are happy with him. David McAlpine. Hi from South Africa. Vickers will stay at Celtic. Celtic love him. Spurs dumped him. Hail. there is a chance in, and yeah, Celtic do bloody love him because he was that good, wasn't he? Yeah, but hail to you as well. Um, I'd love to have him back. Love to have him back. Actually, I think that's a really, you know, a really smart buy. A really smart buy. Edward Y of Oz, CCV rock solid. Okay, that's 3-0. 3-0. Uh, I was wrong. I didn't read the room right. Bloody hell is another one. Oh, it's the same one as before, but he's expanding on it. We're allowed to do that. Jason Helm says he's a beast and better than Dyer Sanchez, long way right. He's way better, man. He's so, oh God, when you write that list out, man, it's just how can we ever, I grew up with a back line of Houghton, Perryman, Miller, and Roberts. For God's sake, look at that. Look at this. Look at this. How's that going to strike fear in the heart of any opponent coming to the fortress that we haven't created yet, the soulless bowl of Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where you can hear a pin drop, or as Sid Waddell would say, it's so quiet you can hear the sizzle of a drop of vinegar landing on the chips. That's what Tottenham Hotspur seems to be at the moment. But that's not, I don't blame the fans for that because they've had bloody all nothing to cheer about. I think we're gonna see things change though. I think we're gonna see, and here we go again. Oh, it's that line again. Tottenham LSG. What's the LSG bit mean? Don't have to explain if you don't want to, but I know what Tottenham means. Oh, and it's if memory serves me, it would be around about this time of year that it's 45 years ago since Argentina, featuring Tottenham's own Osvaldo Adiles and Ricky Viglia doing a little bit here and there, but Osvaldo Adiles won the World Cup for Argentina. So well done, Aussie. And then he signed for us a few days later, 10th of July 1978 was when he signed for Tottenham, and that date sort of sticks in my head. It's one of the two occasions I can remember a big headline in a car almost before I could read. And the first one I can remember was the year before when Elvis Presley died. And, because I had to sit in the car while Mum and Dad went and did the shopping. It's one of those bloody hot days, and vinyl seats takes your skin off and makes you blister. And when they got in the car, they were upset to shit. Well, Dad was, when Elvis died, it was like a complete shock. But then a year later, it's like Tottenham was citing Ozzy Ardiles. That was like the stuff of dreams. How on earth does something like that happen? So 45 years ago, I was going, yeah, we're the best team in the world because we signed the best player. And he's still around. Bless him. I do love a bit of Ozzy. Very smart guy, very shrewd, very funny guy. And what a footballer. But you're saying I'd take CCV back over David Dyer Sanchez. Exactly. Yeah, I'd take one of my shoelaces. After I've been in a public toilet and I've forgotten to do my shoelaces off, and I have to like surgically remove them with gloves and burn them, I'd sign that shoelace more than those three. Depends on the price though. Oh, we're being a bit, bit frugal, you got to choose where you're investing your money. I get you. 24Z says, no chance we get CCV back. You don't reckon? Well, expand on this. He should be good under CCV maybe, because he's not good enough for Spurs. Are you saying CCV is not good enough for Spurs? Okay, well that's one in the opposing thing. So okay. But you're also saying to be fair, he could replace Dyer. Yeah, I'll still count you in the not keen because let's face it. What have I got here? This roll of sticky tape would be more of a hindrance to an opposing player. You just put a bit of that on the pitch, and that would be a more effective defender than Eric Dyer. So if people are going to say just get CCV back, then he's Eric Dyer, I'm not counting that as a real plus. because that's like damning with false praise. But it's all right. We can all have opinions here. I don't care. I like to keep it nice and light. So some people, a couple of people like him. I'm one that likes him. A couple of people don't. Fair enough. Flaming Eyes, he was all right during the World Cup, but don't know. Unsure. Okay. That's fair. I'm only saying it because I watched a lot of him, man. I watched a lot of him, and I thought, fuck. Every time I saw him, I thought, why did we let this guy go? He's so good. And this is the. I'm so behind on the comments already. This is the clip there. I just picked the first one at random. This is Cameron Carter-Vickers versus Rangers, all touches. That's really how I look at players. If I really want to see what someone's like, I'll search for their name and I'll just do all touches during whatever game comes up. I don't trust sizzle reels. I showed you on yesterday's stream that you can do. Anyone can have a sizzle reel. Even Eric, the Dynamo Dyer, can have a sizzle reel. As he comes sliding in on his ass, doing a slide tackle like a dog that's wiped its ass after a crap. Even he's got a sizzle reel. Because he's probably got one of the 40-yard poop punts up the pitch, the one that actually finds a player, the 1 in 10 that finds a player instead of pissing off the rosette or straight down the gullet of an opposing player. Even I've got probably could put a sizzle reel together when I'm trying to get my multi-hundred-pound dollar deal over the line. So get me in, Ange, get me in. Audio Artisan. I was hoping Ange would work the CCV would work that CCV magic on Tanganga. Well, that's an interesting point. I'd have CCV in the squad. Yeah, everyone. All right, look, okay. Everyone's gonna have CCV in the squad over Dyer and Sanchez. Okay, that's a given because they're useless. But I'm saying that I think he's actually a really good centre half and would hold this team in the first place, or maybe a backup to Tapsoba. But I really wouldn't want to sign him and then fuck him about again. But interesting point. Is it possible for Ange to work that magic on Tanganga? That's got me thinking. That has got me thinking. Actually, that wasn't a thought that popped into my head before. But I suppose there are similarities there, aren't there? We didn't really know what to do with CCV. He played in a couple of cup games here, sent him out on about 10 loans. Tanganga strikes me as a player that, he's strong, but he's a bit of a juggernaut. That's his problem. He just runs over people. And I don't think he's quite got the ball control at his feet, but maybe you could have said the same about CCV. Well, there's a question. Could Ange turn Tanganga out of all the defenders we've sort of got, and I say sort of got because they're sort of defenders. I think you might be right there. Actually, I quite like the idea of that. If you're going to turn one, all right. Here's the question: if Ange is going to work his magic on one of our shithouse defenders and turn him into something good, which one would it be? And I think you might have a point here, Audio Artisan. I think Tanganga could be the one that he could do it with. If he could do it with anyone, Tanganga. Yes. I like this. I like your thinking, man. Strange Love the Doctor. Celtic fan here. Hail. Celtic fan here. CCV is one hell of a player. I know, man. I'd hate to see him go. He's a key player. Exactly. PS fuck Rangers. Well, you got to slip that in, haven't you? And even though I'm a Tottenham fan, Tottenham's number one. I do have a few second teams around the place. There's a big load of bloody daylight, and if Tottenham played any of these teams, I want Tottenham to kick their ass. But I suppose my second teams would be Wealdstone FC. I can't have Hayes Town because they've merged with Yedding. I'd have Gladesville and Ryde Magic, which is my local 3rd Division New South Wales team, and Celtic would be in there as well. But yeah, I can understand Celtic not wanting him to go. He was really, really good for you. He was brilliant. No wonder you only let in 30 odd goals. You know, I've heard people say, oh, Ange is all about attacking football, which he is, but you don't let many bloody goals in as well. Celtic's goal difference was plus 80, and I don't give a shit what league you're in. Plus 80 is huge. You know, you're gaining 2 goals a game clear. I mean, Celtic scored 3 a game and let in maybe 1, less than 1. Excuse me a minute. Hang on. Where's the old mute button? There we go. Jason Helms, Tanganga is nowhere near CCV in any aspect. But was he, you know, if we wind back the clock, and I'm not saying you're wrong, man, but was CCV a bit Tanganga-esque? You know, those years ago when we had him, like in the, you know, early 2010s or whenever we had him. Was he now? I think he's 25 years old. So look at his career. When was he at Tottenham? I was looking at this earlier. So we had him from 2016 to 2022, but in that period we were just, you know, shipping him out everywhere. Sheffield United, Ipswich Town, Swansea City, Stoke Litty. God, we didn't send in some. Yeah, it's not like we sent into glamorous areas, was it? Luton Town, fuck me. AFC Bournemouth, that's a bit of glitz and glamour. And then finally went to Celtic on loan in 2021, was signed permanently by Celtic in 2022. So we had him, so 2016, so he's 18 then. Is there anything Tanganga-esque? Or, you know what I'm trying to say? CCV wasn't CCV back when he was with Spurs. He was nowhere near CCV, but now he is CCV. So my rather confusing question is, Tanganga isn't Tanganga at the moment, but can Ange make him Tanganga in the future? I don't know. My interest is piqued by that thought. Can anyone remember CCV's appearances for Tottenham, you know, 6 years ago, or any of those other clubs? I can remember a little bit, and I can remember being underwhelmed. So I don't know. 24Z, I think your love for Ange is overriding your beliefs. Is CC good enough? Well, I'll tell you this, son. For nothing. If CCV is good enough for Ange, he's good enough for me. That's what I'm reckoning. But my love for, well, he's override. He's the governor. In 5 days, he becomes the boss of Tottenham Hotspur. So, yes, if Ange wants him, of course I agree. But you're also, all right, you're not, okay, all right, you're not one of these English people in our Scottish football. Hatate does look good, eh? He does look good. He's a dynamo. And the thing about those 3 Celtic players, and actually a lot of the Celtic players, you know, I think Callum McGregor came on great bounds. I mean, Callum McGregor was an okay player. Ange turned him into a fantastic player, person that dictates the tempo and everything on the pitch. You know, Celtic had just lost their long-term skipper. Callum McGregor stepped into the breach and did an amazing job. But the thing that really strikes me about CCV, Hatate and Kyogo, it's their character. They just don't give up, man. They don't stop. And I know that's what Ange says. You know, we can stop at half time. We can stop at when the full time whistle goes, when we celebrate the win. But during the match, we never stop. If the other team want to stop, we'll use that to our advantage. Tottenham LSG, Tottenham, sorry. I've got to get the Aussie right. I'd love Hatate in the squad. I'd love the way he moves about the midfield. He's always moving, isn't he? He's always moving, which is, you know, it's like our lot have got, well, previous to now, it's like our lot have got concrete boots. It's like there's dimples in the pitch that they just roll into and just stay there. And it's almost like some crap tabletop, you know, game of football that isn't proper table football, and it's not Sabutio. It's just this bullshit thing with dimples in the ball rolls. That's what our players are like. They're like weebles that stay in the same spot. Players like Hatate are always moving around, part of the Total Football. Ah, speaking of Total Football, I've forgotten who it was in the chat yesterday, but they opened a lovely door into a bit of knowledge for me about Vic Buckingham. Vic Buckingham, because I've always been banging on about how Tottenham invented like this push and run total style of football, and I've always gone on about Arthur Rowe doing it, and he credited a previous Tottenham manager from 1921, but a guy that I didn't really know about until yesterday, but I've done a bit of looking up on him, Vic Buckingham. Vic Buckingham played for Spurs when we were in the second division just after the Second World War. But I mean, don't read too much in that, because after the Second World War, it was all old higgity-piggity. It needed a few years to sort itself out. But Vic Buckingham was a Spurs player until 1949. He then went on to have a great managerial career. He managed Ajax, and he managed Barcelona. And his protege was none other than Johan Cruyff. So there you go. There's another bit of evidence to suggest that Spurs invented football as we know it today, the beautiful game. Although the article I read about Tottenham, about Total Football, also went on a bit about Burnley in the 30s or Sunderland. But but Vic Buckingham, Arthur Rowe, because Arthur Rowe had dealings with Puskás. You know, we've got football. We've got football class written all over us, and for me, one of the great things about Ange is it's kind of bringing that back a bit full circle. You know, it's a nice story because Ange was coached by Ferenc Puskás when he played for South Melbourne, so you know it kind of brings it all right back. You know, Vic Buckingham, Arthur Rowe, Puskás, Ange Postecoglou, and we're back we're going to be back where we belong, playing nice football. That's what I want to see. Okay, there you go, man. Now, I made you a mod. I don't know what that means, but you know, you do moddy things. If you want. If you can't be asked, that's all right as well. Wolf Muller on Ange to bring that Japanese striker in from Celtic. You mean Kyogo Furuhashi? Yes, I do like that guy. I really do. I just like I said, apart from his technique, which is outstanding, and his finishing, which is sublime, it's just the guy. He's just got that. He's got the right attitude. You can see he gives a shit about the game, that he loves the fans, and he's proud to be playing for Celtic at the moment. He's done really well, because he would have been a guy that came in, no one knew who he was. Just like when Ange came into Celtic, no one knew who he was. Ange starts signing these players from overseas. What the bloody hell is this Australian doing, signing these players? Who the fuck are this lot? We should be signing players from like Dunfermline and Fife or whatever Celtic sign their players from. And he brings in these guys, and they just lit the place on fire. So Kyogo Furuhashi, yeah, I'm a big fan of him. Big fan of him. And I forgot to highlight you. I didn't click on your message for the sorry, man. Professional streamer. What time is it? 7:29. Okay. I'm half an hour behind with comments. Okay, I better race through a few. Sorry if I'm missing you out. I'll just pick ones that agree with me. Fuck it. It's my channel. No, I won't. Jason Helm says, you're spot on with CCV. He's good. Never should have let him go. Okay, I wouldn't have gone that far, man. You're even more on the CCV bus than me, man. But fair play to you. Better than anything they brought in the last four seasons. Better centre back than Romero. That's a big call, but I mean, Romero wasn't a shit team, but based as a centre back, I'd have to agree. Actually, I'd have to agree. That's how good he was for Celtic. 22. We've got 43 in here. There's only 8 likes. You could sort out the likes and subscribes between you. I'm not going to hold my hat out yet. I'll wait till I can start creaming in the YouTube dollars. Increase my collection of Breitlinger watches that have got to be serviced every year, because fucking hell, you buy an expensive watch and it can't tell the time after a while. What's the bloody point in that? Chris, Meta Football TV. G'day, man. How you going? Okay, good. Thank God people are chatting to each other. I can go forward. Richie B. G'day, Paul. G'day, Richie B. Nice to see you. Ah, yeah, sorry, and here we go. G'day, man. How you going? CCV was the most dependable, consistent, important player in Angie's Celtic team. See, it's just not me. Just not some crazy old dude with an unkempt beard talking about this. We got football experts here. Yasari knows what he's talking about. I'm still here in Wiradjuri country, enjoying it. I was going to go for a bit of a walk today, man, but it's fucking cold out there. Joseph Monaghan, good morning, mate. Best of luck with your channel. Cheers, dude. Thanks for popping in. All right, we caught up with the Looney Tune bit. Tottenham finding Bigfoot is funny as fuck. Yes, it is. It's brilliant because it's always the same clip, isn't it? It's like there he is, and then you'll see this bloke just shovel past, and it's like definitive proof we found Bigfoot. And I understand it when people only had Super 8 cameras, but everyone's got one of these dumb things now. Why haven't we seen more Bigfoot? Fucking Bigfoot. Hey Ellie, nice to see you. Thank you for gracing us with your presence, Your Highness. She's always good to her subject, is Queen Ellie. Are you angry at people that spell things range Paul? No. I'm the worst at it. You know, when you want to bang out something, it always comes out wrong. In fact, yeah, I won't say it, but yeah, spell check did me a real bad thing a few months ago. Anyway, strange love the doctor. CCV missed Celtic's entire Champions League campaign. If fit, I think we would have been at least in Europe beyond Christmas. That's a fair call. In the domestic season, we scored 114 and conceded only 34. There you go. Key players, CCV and Kyogo. One at the front, scoring 114. One at the back, only letting in 34. I rest my case. Maybe CCV needed that time in Scotland to progress his career. Not sure of his EPL quality, though. Well, he probably needed time. You know, don't forget Harry Kane. How many times did we have to loan him out? He was going around all over the place. We didn't know what to do with him, and look what he turned to. So, you know, whether it's time in Scotland or whether it's time at a top, you know, at that competitive level is what he needed. It's certainly worked out for him. How can I be half an hour behind with credit with the comments? Do I waffle on that much? Mia's off to bed. She's already gone, but good night, Mia. Shit. Sorry, Mia. Yusarian. I'd also love to see Canadian right side defender Alistair Johnston in Angie's Spurs side. I'm not familiar with him. Right side defender, you're talking about right back or right side centre back here? Are we talking about a Romero or a Royale sort of replacement? I had a brother called Paul. He was such a cool brother. Yeah, well, okay, there's some good Pauls. All right, there's, you know, I'll be a neutral Paul. We've had one Paul on the dark side, and now we've had a good Paul. So the Paul cosmos is in balance. Hurrah. Hey Paul, Mia dropped the link in her chat to come across to you. Oh, okay. Oh, fucking hell, so behind. All right, I got it to come across. Yeah, Raiders a bit of takeoff on Twitch, which I mod on Come On You Spurs, Come On You Spurs. Right, okay, so you just put the link in. Okay, fair enough. Hey, Tot Spurs, nice to see you. Big up. It's funny how I've become comfortable saying big up, because like I've been watching Tottenham streams for about 2 or 3 years now, and all this big up stuff. I'm sitting here like a crotchety old fart saying, why can't these kids talk properly? Why can't they say hello to each other anymore? Moaning like an old fart. And now, I don't know, it's part of the thing, isn't it? I feel quite comfortable saying it. You know, oh, big up. What the hell, you know? Jason Helms, Levy would skin you alive in negotiations. Yeah, I'm not faring too well. I'm being battered down already, aren't I? I'm being battered down to like a bed and breakfast and an electricity bill at the moment. So, you know, it's the end of my career in professional football, I reckon. Strange Love the Doctor. Madison was pish in Scotland. I do like it, that word. When he played for Aberdeen. Was that right? Did he play for Aberdeen? Fuck, man. We schooled him every time we played him. I'd pay $2 million and 10 grand a week tops. Well, there's a couple of dissenting voices. I'm almost the dissenting voice. I know Moondog, who pops in from time to time, is a bit of a dissenting voice on Madison, and now you're another one that I do like the word pish, man. It does make me laugh. What does it remind me of? Oh God, what were the Scottish programs? They used to actually bother showing Scottish programs on BBC TV at one point. What's his name? The McGregor guy. I can't remember. There was some fucking great comedies from Scotland that came down. I think the last one I really saw was Limmy's show before. No, that was after I moved over, and I heard Limmy had a discussion with the BBC about a new idea for a show he had, and the commissioning editor says, kind of said, can you sort of tone down your Scottish accent? It's like, what, isn't it the British Broadcasting Corporation? It's not just the English, the London home counties corporation. What were the names of those Scottish ones? I can't remember. I remember Channel 4 had one called Absolutely, which was good. Bugger. Can't remember, man. Can't remember. Mark, you're all saying hello to each other. That's all cool. Yes, Ellie, yes, I'm a mod because me and Important Spurs are one love in it. It's totally right, in it. And here's the thing I learned the other day. Some people say arcs. Did I arcs you? Like Peter Serafinowicz used to say, did I arcs you? And I always had a bit in my mind, my snobbery mind. Why do these people say arcs? Can't they say ask properly? Can't they speak English? It turns out that arcs was as used as much as ask in the old days, and it's just one of those things that a battle of the words where ask sort of won out, but arcs was used a hell of a lot more at one point. So saying arcs is all right, really. There you go. Another fun fact, when you see signs that say ye olde worldy or ye olde shoppy, that word ye is not pronounced ye, it's pronounced thee, because that Y is a representation of a word we used to have in the English alphabet called thorn, and it's pronounced th. So it's actually the. There you go. Strange Love the Doctor. I'd be gutted seeing CCV leave Celtic. Your guttedness would be my joy. I'm afraid that's how football works. I'm peace and love to all man, but on the football pitch it's different. That's where we let it all out, and if we let it all out on the pitch, it's a bit less of all that, isn't it? It's less of all that. Oh, no, you're not going to beat me down again, are we? Oh, okay, all right. You let me off the hook. Flaming Eyes, $2 grand, all expenses covered. Should be good. All right, okay. Put it there. Let's get this deal done. Let's get the deal done. We've agreed personal terms. I'm a free agent. Actually, I'll pretend I'm playing for my mate who's probably still asleep. So you got to cut him a few grand as well. But I don't want to ruin the. Now I'm doing a bit of a Levy there. I'm changing my mind. But if he's going to do it, fuck it. So am I. We've got here Jeffrey Drummond, Ray Clements, R.I.P. Yes, that was sad, man, when he died. Fucking hell. Sad when you see players that you've played and they start dropping off the twig. It really is. Houghton, Perryman, Robertson, Miller. I mean, that's just pure gold, isn't it? Pure gold. Lacey is back up as well. Oh, just had a message from Queen Ellie saying I can monetize my channel at 500 followers. I thought it was 1,000. I don't know. I'll get round to it. You got to click buttons and do stuff, and you know, I'll choose my moment. I mean, I will. I'm making no bones about it. I do want to hopefully earn a quid out of this. But one thing I guarantee, I'm not going to be saying shave your balls. I'm not going to say we're going to take a 5-minute break now. I know we're talking Tottenham Hotspur, but let me tell you about ball hygiene for 5 minutes. I ain't fucking doing that. No way. But I might have to look into that and see how it's done. But you know. Queen Ellie says it was quiet now, but Ange is in town. It's going to be like that song. Oh, Jennifer Lopez. Oh, you give me less excited. Sings "Let's Get It Loud." So you're hit with the beat more than me, man. If you came out with a Kink song, even though they support Arsenal, I'd be with you. But Jennifer Lopez, ticker tape everywhere. I assume, Mr. Cousins, you're referring to the 78 World Cup final. Wasn't that amazing? Amazing scenes. That was incredible. One of my earliest football memories. My earliest being Arsenal losing 2-1 to Ipswich in the 78 FA Cup final. Oh, well, we are going to explain what the Leeds is. Well, Tottenham LSG, the L in my name is for Leeds, where I'm currently located. Okay. Also notice my picture. Oh, I'll have to turn my spotlight around. Oh, I can't quite see it. Good old Goldblum in Holstein. Oh, okay. Yes, he did do Holstein adverts, didn't he? Bloody hell, that's a long time ago now. That must have been just as I was coming. That must have been mid-90s or something. Was it? Or have I got a false memory? Holston. Yeah, that to me was. It's funny, you know. It's kind of the first sponsor on a shirt is the one that sticks in your mind to me, isn't it? It's is that just? Yeah, I think that's the coffee I made this morning. I can't be sure though. Yeah, Holston for me. I suppose if you're a Liverpool fan, it'd be like Candy or Crown Paints. If it's Chelsea, it'd be, I don't know, fucking Win a Lot or Pedigree Chum. Depends. I don't know. Daniel E. Sorry, other than his spell at Celtic, CCV has not exactly come up against top-level strikers. Here we go. In the Scottish Premier League, and shown in his loan spells in England that he's championship level at best. Defo, no. Okay, so we were tipping the scales. You know, the not so happy about CCV. You can only play who you're playing against, man. And I would use the Harry Kane argument. We've seen him on loans. What top quality defenders did he come from? Did he come against I don't know, Bognor Regis or whoever he is playing? I think if you watch him, you'll love him. But I know if he comes to Spurs and does well, you'll love him anyway. And if he comes to Spurs and doesn't do well, I'll bloody hate him like you. I'm not saying you hate him, but why do we sign this guy back? Chris Mount Football. Spurs signed Aussie because Levy wasn't there to haggle 3 pesos with the Argies. Yeah, just Birkinshaw just pissed off on a plane and came back with 2 players. And I believe the story is that Aussie, it was kind of he was doing Ricky. Well, if you sign me, can you sign my mate Ricky Villiers? Which I think is really kind of cool. You know, I think that's really kind of cool. Love it. But we, you know, don't forget those owners at that time. You know, we really started having really shit owners from 1983. But don't forget those owners in 1974 when Bill Nicholson retired. We could have had Danny Blanchflower. We could have had Danny Blanchflower as our manager. Who do we pick? Terry Neal. How long did he last? Bloody no time at all. So owners generally, they ain't got a fucking clue about football anywhere, have they? But sometimes you get ones that just don't interfere as much. On the good side, we did end up with Keith Birkinshaw, but I reckon that Danny Blanchflower managed Tottenham with Bill Nick still helping out. We would have just kept on going on, man. But Keith Birkinshaw did an amazing job. No, I'm not putting that guy down. Not keen. Get tap sober, and yeah, no, I mean tap sober seems to be like the man to get. I'm not saying CCV is better than someone like that. I've never seen tap sober really, but I'm just saying CCV. If we ended up getting him, I would not be disappointed, and I wouldn't see it as penny pinching or anything like that. I think that would be a guy that Ange would pick and would do very well at Tottenham. You're talking to each other. Here we go. Yeah. Jason Helms, agree with you on the soiled shoelace. Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing, isn't it? It's disappointing when I go to a pub. In fact, I've really trained myself well to do it. I always do my shoelace up before I go to the pub, just in case you got to go into the cesspit that is a gentleman's public toilet. I mean, fucking hell, man. We could do better than what we do in toilets, surely. I mean, we've got the equipment to aim, and we just... It's like someone's just switched the hose on. It's disgusting. And you see your shoelace in that. Fuck me, you just got to burn your shoes. Put Dettol all over your feet. Agree with you on the ball shoelace over Spurs' current backline. Bad part is other teams feel exactly the same way, and they don't want them. Yeah. We're stuck with them unless we rip up contracts. You know, that's what we might have to do. I saw a couple of rumours about the odd team being interested in some of them, but you know that could be just their agents. They're Mr. 10%ers trying to drum up a little bit of interest. I don't read too much into it, but I would be happy. I'd be happy to spend the money just to rip up their contracts. To be honest, I just don't want them in the club. Eric Dyer, I want him out. I really do. I think he's a. It's not just that he's a crap player. I think he's a crap player. He's a crap influence. I just don't like him. Queen Ellie, I love Ozzy Ardiles too. Paul, what a player. Yes, a legend and a genius. Ozzy was always my favourite. There's something about him. I think it came back from that headline in the paper when Spurs signed him, and from that moment, and he stayed with us so long as well. You know, that was the thing. He wasn't just a fly-by-nighter. He stayed with us, you know, pretty much all of his career, really. You know, 86, 87 he left. Joseph Monaghan, I respect your opinion, Paul. You know your stuff. No. Don't let the way I talk fool you, man. Don't trust anything I say. Pommy Spur, here we go with a bit of Ange goodness here. Ange is going to instill some heart and soul into our nameless world-class stadium. Okay, yes. All right, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Finally, we're going to be able to put "to dare is to do" back in our vocabularies. Can feel it in my balls. Oh, remember when I start getting money, I'm going to be telling people to shave their balls. I won't be doing that. ZZ top, ZZ bottom. I'm going to take. I agree with your sentiment, Pommy Spur, but I will take a little bit of a side issue with this bit here. To dare is to do. That is not our motto. Our motto is audere est facere. It's Latin, and it does mean to dare is to do, but I prefer the Latin one. And I think saying to dare is to do takes away a bit of the. I know Latin's a bit, you know, maybe tough middle class wank or something like that, but I don't know. It just for me, well, that's what I grew up with. Audere est facere, or as we used to say, audire est facere, because we didn't know how to pronounce Latin. And who the fuck knows how to pronounce Latin anyway? Really, it's just convention, isn't it? But I like a bit of audire est facere myself. Falek Isaacs, Paul's a machine. Oh, well, I think I'm a lovable human being, but you know, each to their own, mate. You know, keep those streams coming, matey. Love the mix of history, real talk and easy vibe. Cool, thank you very much. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to do, man. Dyer rubbing his pucker on the turf. Yeah, I might have to find the clip. He literally came in like this, like a dog that's eaten too much chocolate. I saw it. I thought, oh, come on, man. You can't. Even I can slide in with a 2-footed tackle. It might take me 5 hours to stand up after it, but I'd get the basics of the entry right. Daniel Lee, strange you don't seem to be getting what I said. Top level strikers, he was coming up week in, week out. Scotland, yeah, not against his teammates in training. Yeah, I know, I do. I'm getting what you're saying, man. I'm just saying you can only play what you're playing against. And Harry Kane played against a load of shit defenders when he was out on loan. So I think Cameron. Look, I get it. You don't think he's had tough enough competition. I think the competition he's had. I agree. It's not. I'm not saying it's world class or anything like that, but he's done enough in those contests to persuade me that he could do it against top level strikers. That's what I'm saying there. Højbjerg, we got Emil Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Although I'm surprised he's coming in my channel. I mean, to be honest, mate, I'm not your biggest fan, but thanks for coming in. Celtic would demand minimum 20 mil. We could get the Dutch defender for 26. Yeah, well, okay. Well, look, there is the money factor, and if it's in that region, I'm thinking of CCV. When I say as a cheap option, I don't mean cheap as in ENIC. I mean value. But if it's kind of close, like you're saying, if it's 5 million difference here or there or something like that, then I maybe would err to the side of like yourself and Daniel Lee. Is it really worth spending the money on him? But it comes down to Ange for me. It comes down to Ange. Strange love, Dr. Kyogo Maeda. Yeah, I like him as well, man. Daisen Maeda. Giacomarcus was top scorer in Holland. There's your dinner. Giacomarcus, I wasn't as convinced that. I mean, he was kind of, I suppose, a bit of an impact player, wasn't he? Because Ange just likes to flog his players to death out on the pitch. Well, and they want to be flogged out on the pitch. They want to run until they fall over. Ledley King should be coaching all our defenders. Well, if we could just take 5% of what Ledley King could do as a footballer, we'd be a hell of a lot better off for it, wouldn't we? I'm just trying to think of I know I've got my childhood and nostalgic favourites of defenders, like that back line we mentioned, like the Clements, Perryman, Miller, Roberts, Houghton. But I would struggle to go past Ledley King as I'd have to say he's the best defender I've ever seen at Tottenham. I really can't think of anyone better. It was the way he was, he was like for me, he was in the Bobby Moore sort of style of defending. He could nick a ball off someone's toe. So he'd go to ground if he had to, but his timing and anticipation where he could just nick the ball, keep it in play, and start us going up the other end of the pitch. That's what Ledley King did so well. He was an amazing player. And I mean, I'm glad he got a mural. We could do with a few more murals, maybe a bit more old-timey. I know Harry Kane's got one. I mean, that's all well and good, but he's still a current player. That kind of, I don't know. When you're painting something, what are you painting? You're painting for prosperity, for history, and I think you need a little bit of a distance of time before you can do that. I mean, that's just that's what I think about it, and I think it's lovely for Harry Kane to have one now or whatever. But when I hear Levy talk about things like building him a statue, I think, now come on, man. We've got so much more of a history. It's a bit cult of the new to me. We've got to remember our past a bit more because we can remember our present because it's fucking happening in front of us. I don't need to see a 10-foot picture of Harry Kane because he's on the TV every fucking week. But to see a bit more Bill Nicholson and Danny Blanchflower and stuff like that, that's what I want to see. I don't know if any of you were on my stream last night. I'll put it up again. See if I can work this out. History. Here it is. Don't you stop playing it. Don't you start playing it. This is an interview I found yesterday, done in 1962. Some BBC stiff and Danny Blanchflower, and you can see he's quite a guy. He's a very smart guy, but with a good heart, and likes to stick it up the man a bit. And there's one thing a hippie like me is fond of, is sticking it up the man a bit. Danny Blanchflower, he was one of us, not one of them. How far am I behind? Oh, fucking hell, I'm half an hour behind with the bloody... How much have I got to get through it? Oh, it's not too bad. Oh, no, it is bad. Sorry, folks. All right, I'll have to speed this up. Oh, okay. Let's see if it pops out at me. Sorry if I'm ignoring what people are saying. Talk amongst yourselves. There's that one. All right. Daniel, here we go. He's getting all feisty here. He's getting feisty. Come on, seriously, we're talking about really improving our defence this season. We're settling for Cameron Carter-Vickers. See, you used the word settling. I'm not using the word settling. Oh, I'd be happy with him. You know, that lol there. I'm wondering if that lol is a real I'm laughing, having a bit of a laugh with you, or is it one of those passive-aggressive lols that I see on the internet from time to time? I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, you're going to win me over a bit here, Daniel. We're not taking this all personally. I like him and you don't. That's all right. That's cool. But we're after the same thing at the end of the day, aren't we? We both want to see a better defender, don't we? Better defence, because we agreed that our defence is absolute shite. So in our own different ways, we want that to be better. So we're all on the same road, man. It's Ange Postecoglou, you know. Right now he's coming down the M1 in his armoured van full of all the medals and shit he's won. He needs that. There's a police barricade because it's like, 500 tons of gold coming down the M1. That's what we've got. Then he'll probably get bogged down in the North Circular. Some guys with shooters will come out, and Ange will just beat him off with his big fists. Ain't taking my fucking medals. Tony Luxor, peace and love to each and everyone. That's nice, man. Thank you. Pommy Spur, Tanganga ain't good enough. Yeah, maybe he's not. It's an interesting thought. Here we go. David Clark. Hey, hello. How's sunny Leicester this evening? Personal terms agree with Madison. Touch over 9 million a year. Discussing transfer price. Spurs are offering 40 million plus add-ons. Oh, God, fucking hell, man. There's all these add-on shit. It's so fucking confusing, isn't it? Why can't we just keep it simple? I mean, what is it? Okay, it's like another 5 million if he plays 30 games, and if we, I don't know, if we beat Rotherham United in the third round of the FA Cup, we get another million. Or that's just fuck me. I can't do it. Plus add-ons. Leicester want near 60 million, so it could end up at around 50 million, and that seems to be what people are reporting. Is around the 50 million mark. What are people happy with that? I mean, it's cheaper than Richarlison, isn't it? Look, from what people are saying, if he's as good as if he's cracked up to be 50 million, doesn't seem to be ridiculous to me. And if it is 50, and if it is 50 million, and we want him, just pay it for fuck's sake. I mean, Leicester are taking a piss with 60, and here's me talking like I'm a big wheeler dealer football guy. In fact, I don't really know what I'm talking about. Audio Arzan, have you ever thrown a boomerang and caught it on his way back? I've thrown a boomerang and ducked. There's no way I'm catching one of those fucking things coming back here. Have I got one? I thought I saw one around here. Something. No, I've got one at home in my garage. That my My dad actually bought in the 60s when he was in the Merchant Navy. He did a world cruise on the Orcades, and he bought a boomerang. So it's funny, he bought the boomerang as a souvenir, brought it back to England and London, and when he passed on, I bought a few of his belongings back, including the boomerang. So in some ways, yes, I have caught a boomerang that's kind of been thrown all around the world, but there's no bloody way I'd catch one of those things. It'd take your hand off. A proper wooden one, you know, you get these wussy plastic ones you can buy from Kmart or Target. What's the shit shop of choice in England these days? You know, above your Poundland, you know, like Woolworths. Remember Woolworths? Woolworths was full of tat. Like, we got shops that are like big Woolworths, and unfortunately, they don't have the decency to go bankrupt. 24 there. Okay, Paul, I'll let your love for Angela. Thank you, Ian. And no, I'm not one of those guys who disregards anything but the Premiership. No, but you know, it's all fun just talking shit, isn't it? It's all fun just talking shit. Jason, Tanganga is 24, CCV is 25, so I think the gap Tanganga has to make up on CCV will not be bridged in one season. Okay, that's fair. I didn't realise Tanganga was already 24. I mean, that's, you know, I think centre halves tend to, you know, I'll give them a bit of latitude with how long it takes them to mature into the game. Outfield players, you know, the zippy ones can get there at the age of 17. Centre halves have to have a bit of about them, so probably mid-20s. But if Tanganga's already 24, that doesn't bode well, does it? Ellie wants a kiss from Ginola. I've heard he smells very nice as well. Daniela Zito, g'day Daniela. I reckon we could make up the 5 summer signings at a push, but with Levy is just so slow and he's a joke with his bids. Yeah, he is. And 5 summer bids is a lot. I just want quality. I mean, I was one of those ones, those naive fools last year. I was excited about. Well, I still am excited about Basuma. Perisic, I was very excited about. I couldn't have been more wrong. Very disappointed, but I thought we were getting a really good player there, and it just didn't work out. Here we go, Godfrey Drummond, Total Football, Vic Buckingham, Ajax gaffer. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Vic Buckingham, Ajax and Barcelona. Johan Cruyff was his protege. You know, this is what people have got to learn. I reckon when you start learning a football club like Tottenham, you've got to learn about. No, I'm not telling you what you've got to do and what you can't do, but it's nice to learn about what we've done in the past, not just as a, you know, because twats like, you know, Twats FC around the corner, who've got no fucking history at all. They say, oh, you're just living in the past. But to me, it's like, it adds the stuff of legend. It makes it feel, you know, like you're just in the long line of something great that's created something great. You know, all these unbroken hands since 1882 that have got us to where we are today, which is, but we've been a bit before, and we can always get out of it. We'll always get out of it. The fans are always there, long after owners and managers and players like that. But yeah, Vic Buckingham left Tottenham just before Arthur Rowe got us into the first division and won the championship at the first shout. I mean, that's not a bad go, is it? Second division, on the bounce first, yeah, but better than you lot as well. Vic Buckingham influenced Rinus Michels as well. Yeah, I didn't know that. I suppose Rinus and Johan Cruyff go hand in hand. Here we go. Daniel Lee, what's the difference in quality of CCV to Joe Roden? Then that we have to spend 20 million plus on CCV. If we're willing to pay that sort of cash, I'd rather keep Roden. No, Joe Roden's nothing like bloody CCV. Joe Roden's rubbish. He can barely get a game for Wales. CCV, he's an American international. and they're no slouches. I think there's a whole world of difference between Jay Roden and CCV. Whole world of difference. 24Z, did you see City put in a 90 million what? You're saying pounds here, are you? Pounds sterling. Bid for Rice. Wow. Battle it out with Arsenal. Fuck, is he worth it? Well, I suppose it's a lot of money, isn't it, for Declan Rice? Is he that good? Again, he's a player I haven't seen enough, but if this is the market rate for players and 90 million for, you know, they're going 90 million for Rice, I think Maddison for 50 million is a bit of a bloody steal. Dave Clark, Bill Nicholson didn't start touch and run. It was Arthur Rowe, yes, coached in Romania, and it was about to get the coaching job for the Romanian national team when war broke out. Well, I didn't know Arthur Rowe was up for that gig, but how about that? No, it's in fact Arthur Rowe. I found this. It was it. Let me get the name of the guy. Let me see. 1921 Spurs. Match details. Is he gonna say who the fucking manager is? There we go. So the manager of Tottenham in 1921, Peter McWilliam, and I heard through someone on the chat, which I looked into, Arthur Rowe actually kind of got the idea of push and run from Peter McWilliam, our 1921 manager. So it's been there almost in the DNA. Maybe, who knows, he got it off some dude in the 1901 final. And you can actually see, you know, the old movie tone newsreels, the Pathé newsreels of these old finals. I think the 1921 is kind of still photos. 1901, I'm not sure there's much there, but just the clobber they were wearing. The clobber they were wearing was hilarious. It was brilliant. But good football is in the Spurs DNA. And I hate using that expression. I can't believe it just plopped out of my mouth because it has just been so misused and abused, that bloody phrase, Spurs DNA. It's been said by people who don't bloody know what they're talking about. Ben Kaufman, hey, nice to see you. I'm 40 minutes behind. Fucking hell. All right, I'm just going to skip a load forward here. I'm just going to miss a load. Sorry, man. I can't be half an hour behind you lot because you'll all have pissed off. Let's get to, I'll go to 20 minutes behind. What we got up here? Manscaped are coming for, they ain't coming for me, mate. They ain't coming for me. No way. I just find it, you know, I do find it odd how it's one of those things that's just spread to every channel. And I'm not saying that those channels are doing the wrong thing for doing it. I just find it, you know, it's my age. I find it peculiar that everyone's talking about shaving their balls. Ellie, also Arsenal losing to West Ham in the FA Cup final. Trevor Brooking header. Final Willie Young, who was sold to them, got turned and spun. Yes, man. Yes, man. G'day, Tyler. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm doing tickety boo. Probably Spur, you got the Viking genie in your hand, man. Recall my granddad 30 years ago had a zigzag-looking hand operation to straighten his finger. Apparently from Viking genes, or is that at least? Oh, I got a couple of fuck fingers. That's what you're talking about. This one, which clicks now and then. This is an injury of love. Whereas you can't even see how bent and buggered it is. But yeah, that one there. I was 9 years old. There was a girl I liked, and we actually did become little sweethearts for a bit. But one of the things that really got the romance on the boil was I thought it'd be funny if I chased her in the playground with my arms zipped inside my Parker jacket, so it looked like I had no arms. You know, people were a bit, you know, less respectful and stuff like that. Of course, I fell over on my finger and it never recovered. So it's an injury of love, that one. This one, it's just old age. But I can still fret. If I can't, as soon as it stops me fretting the base, then I'll get something done about it. I'm sure it's just like a tendon that can loosen up. Or maybe I'll just not use it. I'll become a bit more of a Django Reinhardt. I don't know. Tyler, as an American, I love CCV. Well, you're bound to, aren't you? And he's been the best centre back in Scotland. He has. He got into the Scotland, like, you know, Premier 11. But I just don't think he's good enough for the. Oh, you're building me up, man. You're building me up. Oh, I thought you were on my side here. But I don't think he's good enough for the Prem. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm happy that an American is back at Tottenham. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, who knows till he comes over. I mean, he might not. It might be all bollocks. It might be all bollocks and whispers and nothing. That, you know, we might be having this discussion over nothing. Pommy Spur, it's sad to say, but if Ledley King would have left us at some point without his dodgy knee, no, he didn't. It was the whole Campbell, Modric, Berbatov era, yes. Let me find it too hard to believe Ange will agree to Madison fee. Reckon he'd rather some obscure player. I reckon he'd just rather the right player. If Madison's his guy, is his guy. If he's a club signing, then I will have a bit of issues. Oh, yeah, here we go. I like what David Clark's having to say here. Like, mouse is fucked again. Hang on. Keeps disappearing my cursor. Here we go. If that clown Richarlison is worth 50 plus 10 and add-ons, Madison is a snip at that price. Well, yeah. I mean, Richarlison. I mean, he wasn't worth it, was he? He wasn't worth it. But I take your premise. If, which he ain't, but if Richarlison is worth 60, then Madison is worth 50 for sure. Absolutely agree. Hiss and Bluff Hoggies. Tanganga could do a decent job for Ange as a right back. Well, you know, I don't know. I think I'm more worried about left back. Has anyone got any left back suggestions? How far am I behind with the chat? I'm only 20 minutes behind now. Here we go. Let me just skip down a bit. Sorry, folks. I just can't get through all the comments. But thanks for putting grist to the mill. Let's have a look here. This might be a fair point. Who really cares? Spurs getting linked to all these Celtic players is just lazy journalism. I think there could be something in that. There could be something in that. There is a lot of lazy journalism. In fact, that Danny Blanchflower interview I posted the link to. He talks about the state of football journalism back in the 60s, and he seems hopeful that it could have been improved. And he it's cool because he's talking it from like a purely football point of view, and he does say, look, it is a difficult job to distill a 90-minute game down into, you know, a couple of paragraphs. Very difficult job to do football journalism. But if you're, but as football becomes more international and more European, Danny says, you know, do you really want to be in Moscow reading about some striker's wife in Blackpool? No, you don't. So, you know, that kind of tittle-tattle, gossipy journalism, I mean, that's worse than ever, isn't it? And it's horrible. But we're also getting the really lazy journalism. And I get it, they're all competing now. It's not just you buy a paper and read it. It's all about internet traffic. So I got caught out again this morning with something where, I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but the headline was something, and I read it, and it was absolute bullshit. It was... The whole headline was based around like a one-sentence quote. It was terrible. Smash that explosion. I don't know if we want to smash explosions There's a peace-loving channel at Ellie. You know, I'm giving you a get out of jail for it. I know you're part of the aristocracy, but I'll let you in as one of the people. You start putting bombs around. Oh, the like button. Thank you. And sub. It's all free. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, push and run 1-2. Yeah, that's right. That's it. 1-2. Total foot was it was where yeah, I get that, but we did both. So yeah, 1-2 is like little triangles and shit, and total football is where everyone's just running all over the bloody place. Ange to me looks like it does a bit of both. But Tottenham did both. We were first, apart from Burnley in the 50s, in the 30s. Do you see Boomerang? I'll check for kangaroo search. I'm afraid not. But there is a short video, a YouTube short, I believe they call it, that I did the other day, with a couple of kangaroos in the front. Oh, hang on! Look at this comment. Max Headroom. There's an element of Max Headroom here on the on the Hotspur Hippie channel. I'll take that as a compliment, man. I need a bit of when I get back home and I can do the background again. Maybe there's a way I can do a bit more Max Headroom, just slip it in subtly from time to time. But that was a fun old program. I did like that. Good old Max Frewer. Art of Noise. Now you're talking. Tanganga is rational. Yes, he is. He's way rasher than Romero, man. He just runs over people. Doesn't see the big picture. I agree with that. Field of plays, passing is average, so 24. He's made no improvement. Oh, okay, all right. Jury's out. Tanganga. Sorry, audio artisan. Try to win me over, but I've been swayed by the mob. Nah, no good. Fuck him off. Andrew Seymour. There's been a list put out today of players to be sold. 10 players. Sorry to say, but Dyer isn't one of them. Where is this list? I'm not aware of this list. I've run out of comments. How did I do that? Did I miss so many? Hang on, let's go up a bit. Here we go. What are we talking about up here? Let's go. I'm going random now. Here's some Bluff Hoagies. He was a former Spurs player that went on to manage England 66. Alf Ramsey, yes, another Spurs player. Spurs is all over the place. Probably Pickles the dog. Pickles the dog that found the World Cup after it got nicked. I think Pickles the dog was a Tottenham supporter as well. Steve Shark, I'm really enjoying these late night streams before bed. Well, you know, that's great. And I do, most nights when I go to bed, I'll put a podcast on and I'll just drift away. It doesn't mean the podcast is boring or anything like that. It's just a nice way to slip off into Never Neverland. So thanks, man. Put Romero in Celtic and you'll get the same results. Let's be honest, he isn't better than Romero. Put Romero in Celtic and you'll get the same results. Let's be honest, he isn't better than Romero. Are we talking about CCV? I don't know, man. I don't know. You lost me. It's going above my head. A great. Here we go. I'm sensing a little bit of football wisdom here. A great coach can make players want to play great. See, football's not a hard game. Football's not a hard game. It really isn't. They flowered it up with PowerPoint presentations. Like, I didn't really watch much of that. What was it called? All or Nothing, the Amazon behind the scenes thing. In fact, I didn't watch any of it really. I only just saw a couple of clips on YouTube because I don't really want to see behind the curtain. I don't like. I don't know. Even though it's already been filmed and already been on TV, I don't like to intrude. I don't want to see what goes on. That's their business. But when you got Jose standing there with like an 80-inch screen and there's fucking arrows and things all over it, I'm thinking, no, man. Come on. Football's easy. You know, if it's a game 5-year-olds can play, yeah, come on. Why are we overcomplicating it? Okay, you're saying it's going to be a 24-hour stream? We're behind you. What? Hang on. What have I missed here? What? Hang on. 48 minutes in will be an hour and 22 in Paul Rick. An hour and 22, so an hour and 39, man. I'm just going up and down now because I sort of skipped too many and I got to the end. Rabsy Nesbitt, there we go, that's one. Rabsy Nesbitt, but that was his name, McGregor. It's not Ewan McGregor. Sammy McGregor, that guy. There was a few things, and they used to talk about pish under the bed. Oh, and he was speaking of pish. I think he played 4 parts of 4 matches for Aberdeen. Poor judge of a pint of pish. Queen Ellie, I used to push and run away from mums when she didn't like me playing footy in the street with my brothers. Well, you know, kids are going to do what they're going to do, aren't they? And I do. It's funny. It's funny. You probably took it for granted at the time that how much freedom we had as kids. We could do bloody anything. Just as long as I was back before the sun went down, that was it. Which was arse in the winter, and I used to, you know, maybe stretch that one a bit. But during the summer, it's fucking great. Be home by 9 or 10 o'clock, easy peasy. You just go pissing around playing football and riding bikes all day. Limmy is a treasure. He's on Twitch now, yes, and sacked off TV for the man. Yeah. No, I do. I don't watch his live streams, but I'll watch. I'll watch some of it, but I like the clips that they do of Limmy. I think Limmy's brilliant, very funny man. All right, let's go forward in time. People are talking to each other. David Clark, Man City will get Rice because they will use Phillips as make weight because Phillips fits West Ham's priority. Yeah, that could be true. Phillips, I'm not really sold on, but I could see that happening in a part exchange. I want to see this list though, Andrew Seymour. Is this official, or you know, where are you getting this from, man? I want to see this list of 10 players. David Clark, Angie's tactics is to progress the ball down the field with players in triangles, and as the ball progresses down the field, a player drops out and a player further forward joins that triangle. Simple. It's simple. Well, look, it's simple as in players and footballers and maybe more football-brained people like yourselves understand it. But to me, it just looks like beautiful chaos, and I really enjoy watching it. It's a very nice style of football, very pleasing on my eye because it's not predictable. It caters for what's happening in the game. Excuse me. I did a video the other day. I mentioned about how a game of football to me is like a living organism. You know, it's like a 22-headed monster plus the wanker in black, and you know, it's how it all plays out. And I like football when it's more flowing. The problem I have with a lot of modern football is, and this might be just my perception being totally wrong, but when I see, you know, if I see a game, Man City seems to strike me as this a team. Say if let's say Man City versus Liverpool type situation. When I'm watching that game, and I don't watch all these games much, and you've got to bear in mind I'm usually half asleep when I'm watching stuff like this. It really does look to me like FIFA, like AI teams playing each other. I don't see much, you know, unpredictability. It's like they set their teams up like this, and then we see how they play against each other, and there doesn't seem to be much, I don't know, flair. Maybe it's that players aren't taking other players on as much because that introduces a little bit of unpredictability in a game when you take a player on and get past him. And I'm not just talking about, you know, going up to the touchline. I'm talking, you know, up the halfway line or something like that. Then that makes it stuff that's harder to counter for. I find football to be almost very formulaic these days, and that's probably why I don't watch as much. you know, back in the day, and also because it's probably I was younger and I lived in England and football was easier to watch. I used to enjoy watching all sorts of football, but these days I find it not. It doesn't ring my bell as much, which is why I did actually get a lot of enjoyment out of watching Celtic last year, and that's what I'm hoping comes to Tottenham. A bit of, you know, a bit of let them worry about us, not us worry about them. Here we go. Well, this is I haven't really talked about this much, I guess. Who really cares? Would you prefer Kane to stay and leave for nothing next season, or get 100 million for him now and Ange gets it all to spend? I would prefer Harry Kane to stay now and leave for nothing next season, if that's what it came down to. I think if Harry Kane stays this season, then it could go one or two ways at the end of next season. He could either leave on a free or something might happen. Maybe we'll do well in a cup or show some progress or whatever, and Harry Kane might re-sign. And I'm willing to take the chance of either of those. If we get rid of him now, then we've got no chance of him ever staying, and we've got a hell of a lot of goals to catch up on. Not only a hell of a lot of goals. I mean, remember he scored 30 in a shit team last year, but it's when he scores those goals as well that's concerning for me. And this season, I think this window, I'd rather just get the back line sorted out, get that back line sorted out, and then progress from there. If we lose Kane, then we've got just another problem to sort out, which may be filled with a you know, character like a Kyogo or something like that, possibly. But you know, but football's about, you know, about what's in your heart. I don't really give a shit about the money side too much. I want Harry Kane to stay for another year. He's our best player by far. He's gotten us out of the crap so many times. And yeah, well, if he goes on a free at the end of next year, but say he gets us, you know, back into Champions League, then it's not really $100 million loss, is it? It's more like 50, 40, which I can swallow. Gregor Fisher, that's the bloke. Oh man, that's the name I was thinking of. Thank you. What was I saying, McGregor? Yeah, Gregor Fisher. Thanks, dude. Another reason for Maddison to want Spurs because he knows that Kane is staying, and Maddison wants to play alongside him. Yeah, that's a fucking hell. How the fuck have I not even thought of that argument, David? That is a cracker. If you're a creative midfielder, brilliant point, man. Brilliant point. You really would want to play in a team with one of the best strikers in the world, wouldn't you? Of course you would. Well, that's it. Okay, I'm sold. All right, we'll get Maddison in. We're keeping it. This is it. I haven't got a hammer to. Verdict is in. Kane is staying and Maddison's coming in. That's it. All right, there we go. I'm sold now. I'm sold. Definitely. Because, you know, just as I've been saying, Harry Kane scored a lot of goals in a shit team. Maddison's already did a lot in a shit team, in a worse team. So I'm just turning the heater down. So the prospect of maybe those two getting together could be something absolutely bloody dynamite now, couldn't it? See, with that simple comment, David, I'm actually I can feel it. I'm getting very excited now. That could be awesome, actually, couldn't it? All right, so this is the list. That was the list that was put out, but it could be bollocks here. Well, I mean, where's this list come from? This is the thing, you know. I mean, there's Lloris, Austin, he's not getting in the game, is he? Rodon, Kyogo, Winston, Dombele, Lo Celso, Perisic, Reguilon. It's all the people we want to get rid of anyway, isn't it? I reckon that's just some journo playing to the Tottenham crowd. I can't see us getting rid of all of those. I mean, I'd love it, and I'd love Diet to be top of the list, but it's not going to happen, is it? I can't see we're having a clear out like that. That would be the stuff of crazy dreams, man. Crazy dreams. Wolfmauler. Andrew's got to come with the emotion. Oh, you don't have to worry about that. Oh, ho, ho, ho. The family atmosphere, like living through the Blitz, not the modern approach. Yeah, yes, 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 exactly, exactly. You know, football is a cyclical thing. You know, years ago, oh, 4-4-2, that's old fashioned, and 4-4-2's come back, and all this sort of stuff. I think it's like what I'm saying, right? I said this, I did a video on this yesterday. Like when you're talking about, you know, rigid tactics and spreadsheet football, yeah, I've got to put the heat back on. Fucking hell, I'm picky. Yes, you can be very, very good, and maybe you can win a lot of stuff, but you can't be great. There's something in greatness that is different. Like the Man City treble winning side. I haven't watched it enough, I must admit, but do I think great? No, I don't. I don't. I would put other teams higher than them. I'd put the Liverpool team of the 80s higher than them. The Spurs team of the 80s higher than them. Just in terms of greatness, you know, greatness, you know, you're probably going to say, oh, they didn't win trebles and all that. I don't care. I'm talking about something that moves you, moves me as a human being, you know. I'm not going to say the Twats FC, but they did have a pretty good side at one point, but they weren't great because they're Arsenal. But just sites, you know, that get you excited. I mean, Pep Guardiola last season, right? What was he saying about the crowd at one point? The crowd aren't getting excited, having a go at the crowd. Oh, we want the fans to make some excitement. Well, if you're not exciting them, they ain't gonna fucking get excited, are they? So there's Man City winning everywhere, apart from at White Hart Lane when they can't. I don't know. Maybe we've got some sort of field up, some mystical field where they can't see our goal. But yeah, I think that from Pep shows that you can still win everything and not get people excited about it. You know, well, I'll tell you an exact Arsenal in the bloody late 80s. What a boring bag of old cack they were. Offside, boring, not great. You know, the Arsenal fans might have got excited because they don't understand what football's about. You know, they just, you know. David Clark, when the ball is in the opponent's final third of the pitch is when his players take opponents on and create chances. Yeah, I'm all for that. Bit of risk. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. A bit of risk. You know, great teams take risks. And sometimes those risks don't pay off. But that's what I want to see. I want to see the bleeding edge of football where, you know, it is the 1% chance things that come off. Because when players start taking those 1% chances, they get better at them and they become 2, they become 10, they become 50, they become 60% chances. But if you're playing boring, bloody tactical bollocks, it's never going to happen. Andrew Seymour, give me sport and the majority of so-called give me sport and majority of so-called need papers. I hope I haven't tuned into a spy listening station sending encoded messages to each other here. Man City playing close-knit triangle, so if Ange gets the team all geared up, working his style of play, there's no reason why we can't be successful too, says Queen Ellie. And you know what? We're going to do better than them and a bit more flary than them because Ange is going to want to take risks. I don't think Pep's side takes bloody risks at all. Don't take risks at all. In fact, I would go as far as to say Man City are bloody boring. That's what I'd say. They bore my tits off. Maybe it's because when they're playing other teams just shit the bed. But Man City don't excite me. There you go. One might say that the only team that really excites me is Tottenham Hotspur. I'll tell you what, watching Celtic a couple of years though, they were pretty great. You saw how they got the fans going. Fans don't get as emotional, excited as that when you're just watching Subudio football, FIFA 24. They were well into it. Well into it. Kane would know. Dave Clark says Kane would no longer be the creator. He can get back to number 9 Scott. 9 slot and score more than 30 goals. Look, if we have any sort of improvement in our team, look, if Harry Kane was in the Man City team, he would have scored way more goals than Haaland and set up way more goals than Haaland, because Harry Kane is just a better all-round footballer. Haaland is a fan. I'm not saying now just because I'm saying he's better than Haaland. I'm not saying Haaland's shit, because I think Haaland is fantastic as well. But I agree with you, David. I think if we get something sorted out where Kane, I mean, it was frustrating for Kane having to drop back all the time, and maybe he was being told to do that by the Italian mob. But if he can just sit a bit forward, yeah, I agree, man. Way more than 30 goals. Way more. I think you could see 50 out of him. And people may say, Hippie, you're being unrealistic. Of course I am. What do you expect? I'm not. I don't even know who's a bloody reporter on English thing, because Jim Sterling's gone now. I'm not a man of fact. I'm a man of emotion and dreams. And my heart and my gut is telling me that Kane would get 50 goals if we get our shit sorted. And I'll tell you what, if he gets 50 goals, if he gets 40 goals, he ain't going anywhere. He's signing a new contract, man. He's signing a new contract. And it'd be well worth the 100 million we didn't get for flogging him. I think, in fact, 100 is too cheap for Harry Kane. It's too cheap. No way. 200. You can't put a price on it. You can't put a price on it. Who really cares? Angel will have a look at all the players before anyone sold. I agree. I think he will have been doing that a bit already, but from a distance, of course. So he'll have to get in there and have a look. Which is why, I'm still unconcerned about the transfer window, because he's not actually started yet. So if it gets to maybe the 15th of July, maybe I'll start getting concerned. But at the moment, I'm kind of cool. Everton of the 80s, yeah. Well, like in the 80s, it was Liverpool, Everton, and us. Really, they were the three great teams around. Other teams sort of flipped in and flipped out. Nottingham Forest, I'd have to say, would be a bloody great team as well. I mean, they played very exciting football, and John Robertson was one of the best footballers in Europe at that time. So I put Nottingham Forest of the early 80s in there as well. But you see where I'm coming from. You're on the cut of my jibby. Great, wow, football. Not, yeah, we won again because we should have won because we're Man City and we own fucking Shell Oil and BP or whatever. I don't fucking know how it all works. David Clark, attack has always been the best form of defence. Of course it has, man. We played the low block under both Mourinho and Conte and conceded almost the most shots in it against our goal. Yeah, I know. It's what a pathetic waste of time. I mean, I'm a moron, right? I'm a moron. And even I get the object of football is to score fucking goals. You can't win a game if you don't score goals. So then why have we spent 4 or 5 years not trying to score goals? I mean, go figure, as the kids would say. I don't want to see that coming back. I don't give a shit if we let in a few. If we're up there having a go, we're more likely to win, aren't we? Not waiting for them to attack us and make a mistake. I mean, what a dumb tactic. Dumb. Tony Luxor, you got a lot of explaining to do if all this goes wrong, brother. No pressure. I can take the pressure. I can take the pressure. Just like Big Ange can take the pressure. Big Ange, I've got no doubt. Look, if it all goes wrong, it's football, isn't it? Bloody hell. But I want to get excited about it. I think Ange is the man for the job. I can't see it going wrong. Not within his control. If you just bear with me a second, I'm just going to go and get a little drink of water to wet the old pipes. Won't be long. And furthermore, Mr. Luxor, which is a nice place. Oh, I've been to Luxor in Egypt. Very nice place. Furthermore, Mr. Luxor, I don't actually have any power at Tottenham. So if it all goes tits up, it's all care and no responsibility, but it won't, because Ange won't let it. The only way it'll cock up is if those clowns that we all know about, those clowns start poking around in football matters when they should be pissing the hell off out of it. But if Ange is left to his own devices, you mark my words, greatness is coming our way, a bit of glory. Oh, sorry. I've made Queen Ellie cough up her chocolate digestives. I'm sorry. I do apologise, Your Highness. Don't send me to the tower. The banner will be epic. Oh well, bring it on. Who gives a fuck, eh? I mean, it will be funny though, because I can guarantee someone's going to say, "It's your fault, hippie. It's your fault, Paul. You wanted him, and look what happened with shit." So what am I going to do, eh? Fucking Brian Hill, yes. Dream big. Why not? You know, when you go to bed and have a dream, what you want to dream? You're sitting in an office cubicle, you know, doing a report that has to be done by like fucking 6 o'clock on a Friday evening. No, you want to fly around, be Superman. That's what I do when I tweak myself dreaming. I think, oh fucking hell, I'm dreaming. I start flying around like Superman and shit. Dream big, yes. Celtic always play attacking football. I wouldn't say always. I think that's what their philosophy is tended to be. And that's but you're right. That's why Angels love it. That's the football they want to see at Celtic. Sometimes they don't get it. Like we don't always get it. We haven't had it for like half a decade, really. All right, David, man, you're right on the Madison. Yeah. Don't think Madison suits the way England plays. That's why he looks like he struggles. So I wouldn't look at him playing for England to make your mind up about him. Well, and that could be a fair comment because we have a history in England of having really good players and not using them very well at all, like Glenn Hoddle, you know, and not having the best managers like Brian Clough should have been in there. I love Brian Clough's style of play. They were so exciting to watch. Kenny Burns, oh, he's a monster, eh? Hard as nails. Have you seen that clip where I think he's standing, there's a free kick coming in, and he's standing behind the wall, and he just gives a little headbutt to the player in front, and obviously didn't think he would be on camera. And he's like, what, ref? Yeah, Kenny Burns, funny guy. John Robertson, Martin O'Neill, yeah. And then later on, Des Walker, yep. Now, I heard a story old Gary Lineker told about Des Walker before the FA Cup final. And I think it was a week or two before we played them in the final. And this is when, you know, all that top four was all shit and we finished in the league wasn't that important unless you're going to win it. So Spurs played Forest in a league game. And Gary Lineker, the wily old Leicester Fox, played a little bit shit on purpose. No, what did he do? Let me get this right. He didn't like playing against Des Walker. So how did he do it? Oh no, so right, okay. I think Des Walker wasn't in the team. Maybe he was injured or something like that. And Lineker played a little bit shit to make the replacement defender look good. So when the FA Cup final came along, Des Walker wasn't in the starting 11. So they played it into Lineker's hands. But then Des Walker was brought on at half time, and he said to Lineker, "I'm back," because Des Walker was a fine player, man, fine player. I mean, you know, Martin O'Neill, Archie Gemmell, lots of great players in that Nottingham Forest team. Who really cares? Better to win 5-4 than 1-0 any day. Any day, man. Any day. Any day. I'd take that any day. Perfect. Levy should eat at the Ivy and leave the shimmy shammy footy to Ange. Is there a wanky place in London called the Ivy? Because there's one in Sydney. There's one in Sydney called the Ivy. I've been there once. It's kind of like a nightclub. And I went there once, it was about 15 years ago. And I went in there straight away. I didn't like the vibe. And it's like a nightclub. And there's like people walking around with cappuccinos. And I just got very quickly the vibe that the reason they're in cappuccinos is because there was a lot of cocaine going around. I thought, that's not my scene, man. Not my scene. Don't like that. I'm a down and not an upper. You can see them all like, rattling their coffee cups. I mean, why's everyone drinking coffee? All right, I think we've about come to the end of today's play. I'll just have a quick look for Kangaroos. No, afraid not. Well, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure just talking football shit with you lovely people, and I hope you have a lovely day. The sun is coming out a bit. The old weather forecast is all going to be cloudy and shitty today, but I don't. Weather forecast the same in England. I'll leave you this before I go. Like when I see the weather now, it used to be just Michael Fish with pictures and shit. It was very easy to understand. It wasn't always right, but it was like, at least you know what their opinion was. Now, it's like they'll give me percentage chances of shit happening. And it's like, I'm thinking, why don't you interpret these numbers? I'm just an idiot. You give me all these numbers and probabilities and shit. What do I fucking know? Just give me a picture of a sun or a cloud with some rain coming out of it. Don't say 50% chance of rain. That means you're not even trying. Toss a coin. You're on your own. Oh, we don't fucking know. 50%. Do your bloody job, Bureau of Meteorology. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Gary Birtles, Tony Woodcock. Yeah, Archie Gimmel, Roy Keane, Stuart Pearce. Yeah, all great players. Big up, boy. Have a great day. Have a great day, Bobby K. And we'll finish with this one because I bloody love it. Yes. Ange could win the league at Spurs given time. I don't doubt it, man. I don't doubt it. If he's here 4 years, don't be surprised if one of those big cups drop, man. One of those big cups drop our way after Pep's all knackered. He's run out of his tactical play because Ange just says, that's not bloody football. This is football, like Crocodile Dundee. Klopp's crapped out. Klopp's cracked. Who else is there? Newcastle, until they get some dodgy sponsorship money, they're going nowhere. Arsenal are a bunch of pretenders and chokers, paper thin. They ain't got nothing. Who else is there? I don't know. Who else is it? Man United, old Ten Hag's bollocks it up as well, isn't he? He was their saviour. Okay, he did all right with the Ronaldo thing, but fuck all since. So who's left? It's got to be Tottenham Hotspur, last man standing. Ange Postecoglou's Blue and White Army. Hop over the in, bro. Here we go. Come on, you Spurs. Good night, all. Peace and love, man.